Hey, Shalom. First, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the whole of the house of David. Let's get into this. This is about, praying against the flesh. Because the flesh will have you out there, The flesh will have you out there. The flesh will have you doing things, preparing things, prepare things to have provisions for the flesh, The flesh trying to look after the here and now, The flesh trying to look after how the flesh is gonna remain a few days from now, if you're a man a few years from now. The flesh does not look after the spirit. The flesh does not look after, okay, how strong will you be in the spirit? Where will you be in the spirit, tomorrow, 1 year from now, 5 years from now, And when it's time to do things of the flesh, when it's time to do things of the spirit, some things you want to do that you need to, overpower your flesh to do. Your flesh gets in the way. Your flesh acts like the adversary. Your flesh acts like a stumbling block. Your flesh gets in the way. Your flesh be like, hey, I don't want to be cold. Hey, I don't want to be hot. I don't want to be too cold. I don't want to be too hot. So what? So what the flesh would be like, hey, and it's probably too cold to go out there. It's probably too cold to do the work of the Lord. It's probably too hot to do the work of the Lord. I'm tired. I don't want to pray right now. I'm tired. Oh, I don't want to pray right now. We're having a good time right now. We can pray later. We can fast later. We can do this later. Everything that the spirit wants to do, the flesh gets in the way of. So we must combat the flesh with the spirit. We must combat the flesh with the spirit. Because that's what, during times of Jacob's trouble, that's what you're going to be fighting against. That's what we are going to be fighting against. That flesh. Because that flesh going to want to go back to comfort. That flesh going to want to go back to security. There's a saying we have in this world. We humans are creatures of habit. We like a pattern. We like a system. And we don't want to break out of that system once we're comfortable in that system. And Esau, our adversary, knows this. So what? They gave you a comfortable system that you do not want to leave. And once it is taken away from you, you're going to want to do everything to get back in it, to get back to that system, especially if you're only been living in the flesh and you have not been nurturing the spirit. So what? The beginning of nurturing the spirit is what? Reading the scriptures, learning the Father's and the Son's will, praying. These are two of the basic things you can do. Then you go into fasting, Wait, excuse me, not fasting yet. Then you can, try to do like a cleanse. Probably a fruit cleanse, a vegetable cleanse. You know, withstanding from eating from periods of time like intermittent fasting. Instead of going on a full fast right now, intermittent fasting. You know, and while you're doing this, pray, pray, pray. Fight against the spirit. Probably with all withstand for all a couple of pleasures. You know, withstand from a couple of pleasures. You know. And just, focus on the spirit part, just to resist the flesh. Exercise strength against the flesh. Because your flesh is going to be your biggest adversary. Your flesh is your biggest adversary now. Let's get some of these scriptures. This is Matthew. And the fight. And we all going through this fight. We all going through this fight. This is Matthew chapter 26, verse 41. Listen, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. It's okay to pray against temptation. It's okay to pray against temptation, that the spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. You be wanting to do it, you be having in your mind to do it, being your spirit to do it, but what that flesh be like, oh, I ain't got the strength for it, or I don't want to do it right now. But when that flesh wants something, boy, does it drag you. It drags you to whatever it wants to do. It'll pull you along wherever it wants to do. But when you want to do things of the spirit, it drags its feet. It drags its feet. That's how you know. That's how you know these fucking flesh. Excuse my language. This flesh is all, these some chains. These are prison chains of darkness. Because that flesh will have you blinded of things that are on the way that you would need to see in the spirit. Let me read this one more time. This is Matthew chapter 26, verse 41. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Listen to this. This is 1 Peter 5 and verse 8. Listen. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. What? This is time to be sober-minded, Don't be distracted by this world. And what did this world draw? The flesh. It entertains the flesh, That world is all about entertaining the carnal. This world is all about entertaining the carnal, And if you're distracted by this world, what? You're not vigilant, You're not vigilant. You're not aware of the enemy's movements. You have lost track of the enemy. Now the enemy can come at you at any ways that he wants, That's why you must be sober. You must be vigilant, Don't be too distracted by this world, This is listen. This is Luke 22 and verse 40. Listen. And when and when he was at the place, he said unto them, pray that ye enter not into temptation. Like I said before, it's okay to pray that you enter not into temptation. Ask for strength, ask for mercy. Because the desires, man, the desires of this flesh can have you out there. That spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. That flesh can have you out there. And when it comes to doing things of the spirit, it feels like, damn, it somehow got heavier. It somehow got heavier. Nah, because you're over there in the flesh, and that flesh has become a weight. That flesh has become a weight. Listen to this. This is just to prove my point. This is Galatians chapter 5. Verse 17, listen. Verse 16. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. We are in a battle. We are in a battle, and we have to fight. We have to fight. And I hope those of you that do listen, that do stumble across my videos, I hope you do win your fight. I really hope you win your fight. I don't mock at any battle a brother or sister will go through, no matter how small it is. Something small to me might be great to you, and I encourage you to keep going, keep fighting. I won't laugh at the scale of your battle, because we all have our battles, and I hope you win. I really do hope y'all win y'all battles, So fight and pray. Fight and pray. Because temptation gonna come. Pray that you don't enter it. Pray that you overcome it. You have strength to win, to see it when it comes. And you not be blindsided by it. Because that flesh. Because not only you fighting the flesh, sometimes you lose, and it can send you to, put your spirits down, and that can cause, depression, all these other things, what scripture says, many have went to the grave because of that. Roughly paraphrasing, we know that stuff can, take people out. So, pray, I hope y'all win. Abaratazah. Yeah, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, Yahweh and Ba'ashem Yahushua's name, I hope y'all win. Keep up the fight. I think I repeated myself a couple times. Let me read this one more time for y'all. This is Galatians chapter 5, verse 16 and 17. This I say then, walk in the spirit, that ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. You know? And with that, I hope you was encouraged. Hope you was edified. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful like the house of David. Until next time, Yahweh willing, Shalom.